Hello guys, welcome to this lesson. In React Router, the route parameters allow you to define dynamic segments in your routes. These dynamic segments can be extracted from the URL and used as variables in your components. This feature is particularly useful when you have routes with dynamic data, such as user profiles, product details, or blog post pages. These are just examples. Now let's see how we can make use of route parameters and dynamic routing in our application. So we'll say import user profile. Alright, after that we simply create a route for it. We want the navbar to display inside this page, so we'll nest it inside of our nav route. So in here, let's create another route. And then we give it an element prop of our user profile component, just like this. And the path prop is going to be /users/user. Alright. Let's head over to our browser and actually see if this works. So in our browser, we simply need to change the URL to /users and /user, just like this. And as you can see, that instantly works. It shows my GitHub profile, my username, my name, my location, my bio, and my profile image. Alright, this works perfectly. Now we are going to implement a functionality for this page to show a profile for whichever user we click from the users list page. So whenever we click on this view user, we want to navigate to this page and show whichever user we clicked from that page, right? However, since the profile page is a route on its own, we can't pass props to it. So the solution to this problem is adding URL parameters to our route. So that means we can add another parameter to this URL and then grab the value of that parameter within our code using React Router's useParams function. Now let's actually see how we can add parameters to our URL and grab that within our code. In our app.js file, we only need to add a column and then the name of the parameter we are looking for. Over here inside the path, we first of all need to add a / and then a column and then the name of the parameter we are looking for within our component. So we are looking for the user's username. So we simply add that here. So we simply type username, just like this. Cool. Then we can go to our user profile component and grab that parameter value. So above, I'm just going to import use params from React Router DOM, just like this. Then inside of our component function, we can grab the parameter we want by destructuring it from the useParams function. So we are just going to say const, then we destructure username is equal to useParams. And this is a function, just like this. This has to be the exact value we gave it in our route component back in our app.js file, right? Now with this, we have our parameter value, and to actually test this out, let's just create a h1 tag over here and call the username parameter to see if this works. Alright, let's head over to our code, refresh the page and see if this actually works. So as you can see, we have a page not found here because we no longer have a page that has this path. Rather, the path we have has another parameter it's looking for, which is the username parameter. So here, let's just add the random username value. So I'm just going to say /Adam. And if I hit enter, we have the Adam keyword over here, which is the URL parameter we added. Let's use another value to actually see if this works. So I'm just going to say John. If I hit enter, this is now John. As you can see, this is how we can add parameters and get it within our component using the useParams function from React Router DOM. Now, we want to pass this parameter to our GitHub API URL inside of our useEffect function. Over here, where we have my GitHub username, we can just change this to a dynamic value, just like this, and then we can add the username. Instead of this being a static value of my username, this is now going to be whatever parameter we input in our browser. Let's actually head back over to our browser and see if this works. Let's test the username John. And as you can see, we have John. John appears to be a potato. Let's test another username and let's say Angela. Angela also works. Angela appears to be a Wonder Woman. Cool. As you can see, this works. Let's remove this H1 tag. It's actually messing things up. So I'm going to remove it over here. As you can see, this clearly works. If we give this parameter a username, it's actually going to bring up that GitHub user's profile and display it for us over here. Let's go back to the username we used before, which is my username. I'm just going to say Kolosafo. Now you can also try this by inputting your GitHub username and see if it actually works. But as you can see, it clearly works for us. Finally, let's head over to our users component and see how we can navigate to the user's profile page when a button is clicked. To do that, we simply change this button over here to a link tag. So I'm just going to change it to a link tag, and we actually need to import that from React Router DOM. Import link from React Router DOM, just like this. The path we are going to specify should be to the user profile page. So we need to grab the username and pass it to the path. So instead of using quotes, we are going to use backticks. And then let's start with the path, which is /users, /user, and then /. And now we're just going to use the username value as our parameter. So we say $, curly braces, and that should be user.login, just like this. This is the value for our username. Now, if I head back to our code, if we now click on this view user link, it should take us to the user profile page and actually display this specific user's profile. All right, let's test that out. Let's start with this first user. If I click on the link, as you can see, we have this user's profile. This is their username, their name, their location, and their follow account. If we go back and select another random user, such as this one, you can see this also shows their profile. If this lesson for some reason seems confusing to you, don't worry too much. You are going to get enough practice in this course to grasp all the concepts and become confident with them.